Now very lightly, I'm going to come in, and in a couple of places I'm going to leave little bits of blue-gray. Okay, some of this I'm going to leave broken up. Okay, now we'll take a little bit of rouge and we'll go in and we'll basically define the shapes that we're going to make. All right, now to make a three-dimensional shape, I'll show you on my forearm here to give you an example so you can get a feeling for what's happening at the distance. First thing we want to do is take our rouge and form what we call an unline, okay? Now an unline basically means that we're taking, a line is something that comes straight out. It's a connected series of points that stretches on to infinity. It's what they call it in mathematics. In art, we consider it a flat area of color that has an edge on both sides, all right? What we do is exactly the opposite. We have areas of color with edges on either side that meet, right? So we have the absolute antithesis of a line, so we call that the unline, all right? So, into here we'll start adding little bits of shape. We're going to come down and model this nasolabial fold. We'll come into here, add a little bit of a bag here. Okay, we'll put in a little bit of mustache here. All right, take some of that. All right, we'll add a little color into here. And we take these and we start to blend them out into the base color so that we define the areas that we're shaping. All right? Now we're going to come into here and we're going to add shadows and highlights, which are going to do more for us, okay? Start raising things and setting them back from the face. In terms of the unline here, quickly, let me show you before we go back to her face. We do the same thing here. Okay, I put my edge. I blended it out into the area that I'm going to shape. So we go from darkest to lightest through the base color, okay? Now we have the beginnings of a shape here. Next thing we do is take our highlight color. We'll come back into here and add a crisp edge on the outside, okay? Now this crisp edge is going to set it apart at a distance. Okay, now we have a great deal of contrast there. And we take this and we blend it out carefully into the surrounding base colors so that we don't have a line, but we have two areas of color that meet. Okay? Now, if we're going to have a highlight there, we also have to have a highlight here, where it's also catching light. Okay? And we'll take this and blend that lightly into the surrounding base color in rouge. All right, now we have the beginnings of a depth shape here. And all we need to do is take our fine brush and hit it with a little shadow color at the deepest point. Okay, we'll take that shadow color, blend that out lightly into the surrounding area. Now we have a shape that seems to be three-dimensional. If I hold it like this, it looks like an eye bag. Okay, you seem to have flesh hanging over here of an area that's indented. There's no indentation there. This is a flat area of space. Okay? If you look at it in the mirror, it gives you the same impression. You seem to have an indentation there, a piece of a bag of flesh, all right? Well, basically what we're going to do is the same thing on her face. Okay? We have the rouge, which has defined the area. Now we're going to set our crisp highlight against that. Okay, which... I keep putting this, I keep losing it, I don't know why. Oh, this is the light. Use the extra light. Where did I just put it? Oh, here it is, I turned it over. You can't get colorblind either, you know? It happens sometimes. All right, we'll set our crisp edges here. Okay. Set one up into the top. Okay, and then we'll take these and blend them down into the surrounding area. All right, see how this is starting to change the face now? Okay. Put a little bit into here. And blend this down into the surrounding base color. Okay, we'll take this and blend the nether area into here, the way we were doing on the hand. Okay, now let's take a little bit of shadow in here. All right, now I'm just going to model this part of the face first, then we'll go on to the other side. What I want you to see is how we can dramatically change the shape of something at the distance. Okay? Okay. Add a little bit of shadow into here. Take a little bit down into here. Okay, you start to get the feeling for what's happening? I'm going to take this and sink this. As you get older, your bone structure becomes much more prominent. You know, you can't help it. Unless you grow very, very fat, then you know, the concentration becomes on the flesh. But if you're more of an asthenic type, you'll find that the bones become much more prominent. Some people, you swear that you can see their skull right through the skin. You know? Okay. Okay, we'll take a touch of highlight, create a bigger bag in here. Alright, thin that lip a little bit. Okay, can you start to see what's happening to the face now? All right, now if we're going to go on to smaller shapes, let's do the same thing with our crow's feet here. Okay? Yeah, you want to look at this one, right? Oh my God, I can't believe it. Okay. Alrighty. Let's come in here. Just go like this. Give me a smile. There we go. Okay, we'll take some highlight. And we'll raise some of these things away from the face. Remember, what your eye actually is seeing is the highlight, not the shadows. So you could be pretty safe to go with a lot of highlight on your makeups. You're better off not using a lot of shadows. Okay. Now you can see we start to have crow's feet that are formed here. All right. You can look at it in the mirror. You can see what it looks like at the distance. All right. We'll come in here and add a little bit of height, a little bit of shape. All right, so we have a crisper line into the forehead there. Okay. We'll take a little bit more shadow, run it down the side of the nose, give it that kind of crinkly, knobby look, you know, how people's noses get a little knobby when they get old. We'll put a couple of these little lines in there, too. I like those. Okay, come back in with this. Let me crisp some of these highlights. Just crisp a little under here. A little more into there. Give us some more distance. Okay. Stipple on a little bit of texture. We use brushes called stipple brushes sometimes. And, okay, where did he go?